Shalom, everyone. I just wanted to start a new series. I'm going to be going over all the next many videos about, the Book of Jubilees. So this is the first video of the Book of Jubilees. All the previous ones before this one is from the Book of Enoch. So yeah, I'll definitely be enjoying, taking care of that, of course, and revealing to you what the Book of Jubilees says that has been taken out from the scriptures, and that just details that is not spoken of in the Book of Genesis. So basically, this subject is how the human population grew from Adam and Eve. So the first few chapters in the Book of Jubilees, the first two chapters, just to summarize, is talking about how Yahuwah spoke to Moses on top of Mount Sinai to write this book. So actually, this book was written by Moses on the top of Mount Sinai. And of course, it was preserved over the years, until they found it in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So Moses actually wrote this book as it was describing in chapters 1 and 2 in the Book of Jubilees. Chapter 3, it was talking about the same stuff that's already said in the Book of Genesis about, the beginning of creation all the way up until Adam and Eve was created. So all of that, that was in chapter 3 of the Book of Jubilees. So that part's already in the Book of Genesis. Now, I want to go read to you chapter 4 of the Book of Jubilees, because that actually is the chapter where it describes in great detail on how the human population grew from Adam and Eve up and onward. So just to summarize the ending of chapter 3, we were at the ending of, after the time Adam and Eve fell, when they ate the forbidden fruit off the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and how they were driven out of the Garden of Eden, and they had to dwell in a land that was east of the Garden of Eden. So basically, we're at that point in time so now I'm going to start with chapter 4. So this happened right after they were driven out of the Garden of Eden and had to dwell in another land. All right, so chapter 4 of the Book of Jubilees. In the third week, in the second Jubilee, Eve gave birth to Cain, and in the fourth she gave birth to Abel. In the fifth she gave birth to her daughter Awan. So, Eve had a daughter. The reason I wanted to go over this chapter is because the Book of Genesis actually leaves out the daughters that Adam and Eve actually had. Because Adam and Eve actually had daughters, not just sons. Because I know that was taken out of the Book of Genesis. So that's why I wanted to go over this in a subject today in this video, to let you know that they actually had daughters too, and not just sons. All right, so far it's 2 sons and 1 daughter. In the first year of the third Jubilee, Cain slew Abel because Yahuwah accepted the offering of Abel and did not accept the offering of Cain. And he slew him in the field, and his blood cried from the ground to the heavens, lamenting because he had slain him. And Yahuwah reproved Cain because of Abel, because he had slain him, and he made him a fugitive on the earth because of the blood of his brother, and he cursed him upon the earth. And on this account it is written on the tablets of the heavens, cursed is he who smite his neighbor treacherously. And let all who have seen and heard say, so be it. And the man who has seen and not declared, let him be accursed as the other. And for this reason we announce when we come before Yahuwah, our God, all the sins which is committed in the heavens and on the earth, and in light and in darkness and everywhere. And Adam and his wife mourned for Abel 4 weeks of years. And in the 4th year, in the 5th week, they became joyful, and Adam knew his wife again. And she bore him a son and called his name Seth. For he said, Yahuwah has raised up a second seed for us on the earth instead of Abel, for Cain slew him. So now it's back to 2 sons and 1 daughter, because Abel died, obviously. In the 6th week, he brought forth his daughter Azuriah. So that's another daughter that Adam and Eve had. So now they just had their second daughter. And Cain took Awan, his sister, to be his wife. So yeah, so that actually happened. Some people believe there was other women on the earth at that time, but that's actually not true. The Book of Jubilees proves that it was incest at first, because very few humans on the earth, obviously. So Cain took Awan, his sister, to be his wife, and she bore him Enoch. It's a different Enoch. It's not the same Enoch that is written from the book or whatever. This is a different one that was born generations prior to the other Enoch that was born later on before Noah. So just had to because sometimes there was 2 people that had the same names or whatever, just 2 different people. So just tell you that it was a different Enoch. It wasn't the same one. At the close of the 4th Jubilee, that's when it was born. And in the 1st year of the 1st week of the 5th Jubilee, dwellings were built on the earth, and Cain built a city and called its name after the name of his son Enoch. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she bore a further 9 sons. Adam and Eve had 9 more sons. Now that was that sounds good. So they were trying to really populate the earth, because it was barely humans on it anyways. All right. And in the 5th week of the 5th Jubilee, Seth took Azurah, his sister, to be his wife. So another son of Adam and Eve took the other daughter that Adam and Eve had. So like I said, they had 2 sons and 2 daughters. One of the sons took one of the daughters, the other son took the other daughter. So that makes sense, obviously. So Seth took Azurah, his sister, to be his wife, and in the 4th year of the 6th week, she bore him Enosh. He began to call on the name of Yahuwah on the earth. In the 7th Jubilee, in the 3rd week, Enosh took Noam, his sister, to be his wife. Noam is a daughter of Cain, and stuff like that. So, and she bore him a son in the 3rd year of the 5th week, and he called his name Canaan. And at the close of the 8th Jubilee, Canaan took Molalith, his sister, to be his wife, and she bore him a son in the 9th Jubilee. And in the 1st week, in the 3rd year of this week, he called his name Mahalalel. In the 2nd week of the 10th Jubilee, Mahalalel took a wife, Dinah, a daughter of Berelkel, the daughter of his father's brother, and she bore him a son in the 3rd week, in the 6th year, and called his name Jared. For in his days the messengers of Yahuwah descended on the earth, those who are named the Watchers, that they should instruct the children of men, and that they should do right ruling and uprightness on the earth. And in the 11th Jubilee, Jared took a wife, and her name was Berakah, the daughter of Rasuel, and the daughter of his father's brother. In the 4th week of this Jubilee, she bore him a son in the 5th week, and in the 4th year of the Jubilee, he called his name Enoch. So that's another Enoch. This has to be the actual Enoch, the other one that I was referring to. He was born first among men that were born on the earth, who learned writing and knowledge and wisdom, who wrote down the signs of the heavens according to their months in a book, that men might know the seasons and the years according to the order of their separate months. So yeah, this is the Enoch that wrote the book of Enoch, not the other Enoch that was mentioned earlier in this book. So this is the actual Enoch that, was one of the only ones that was righteous on the earth. Anyways, and he was the first to write a witness, and he witnessed to the sons of men among the generations of the earth, and recounted the weeks of the jubilees, and made known to them the days and the years, and put in the order of months, and recounted the Sabbaths of the years, and we made known to them. And what was and what shall be, he saw in a vision of his sleep, that it shall happen to the children of men throughout their generations until the day of judgment. He saw and understood all, and wrote his witness, and placed the witness on the earth for all the children of men and for their generations. In the 12th Jubilee, in the 7th week, and by the way, let me mention something real quick. Each Jubilee is every 50 years. So already in the 12th Jubilee, which means, it's 50 times 12, basically 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. The year 600 after Adam and Eve was created. So right now we're already in like the 600th year since the day of creation. So that's how far we are ahead in the timeline, of course. In the 12th Jubilee, in the 7th week, he took a wife, and her name was Edney, and the daughter of Danel, the daughter of his father's brother. And in the 6th year, in this week, she bore him a son, and called his name Methuselah. You probably recognize him like in the book of Genesis, of course. He was furthermore with the messengers of Yahuwah these 6 jubilees of years, and they showed him all which is on the earth and in the heavens, the rule of the sun, and he wrote it all down. Oh, by the way, Methuselah actually written parts of the book of Enoch, so that now they're mentioning that what Methuselah was writing about. Because the book of Enoch, it was mostly written by Enoch, but there was also parts that was written by Methuselah too. So if you read the book of Enoch, you'll know who is who, because they kind of introduce themselves when they write the book or whatever. So that makes sense. Because Methuselah at one point introduced himself that he was writing it instead of Enoch, later on in the book of Enoch, of course. So now, continuing on chapter 4 so far. And he was furthermore with the messengers of Yahuwah these 6 jubilees of years, and they showed him all which is on the earth and in the heavens, the rule of the sun, and he wrote it all down. And he witnessed to the watchers. The watchers is another term for fallen messengers or fallen angels. The third that fell from heaven, that rebelled against Yahuwah, was Satan or whatever. So that's what watchers are. And he witnessed to the watchers who had sinned with the daughters of men, for these had begun to unite themselves as to be defiled with the daughters of men. And Enoch witnessed against them all. So those third of the fallen messengers literally had sex with human women and corrupted the seeds and stuff like that. That's basically what happened. I did a previous video on that, by the way. Because the book of Enoch actually describes that in great detail. Alright, continuing on. And he was taken from among the children of men, and we conducted him into the Garden of Eden in majesty and honor. And see, there he writes down the condemnation and judgment of the world and all the wickedness of the children of men. And on account of it, Yahuwah brought the waters of the flood upon all the land of Eden, for there he was appointed as a sign that he should witness against all the children of men, that he should recount all the deeds of the generations until the day of condemnation. As I just read in this book, the Garden of Eden is currently underwater. That's why you don't see the Garden of Eden right now. It's underwater. It's just buried underwater right now. It won't be uncovered until, like it says, the day of condemnation, which is, the day of judgment when Yahusha the Messiah returns and stuff like that. So the Garden of Eden is going to be underwater until then. So that's basically what this last verse was saying. All right, continuing on. And he burnt the incense of the temple, the sweet spices acceptable before Yahuwah on the mountain. For Yahuwah has 4 places on the earth. Okay, these are the most set apart places on the earth. And hear this: the Garden of Eden, the mountain of the east, and this mountain on which you are this day, Mount Sinai, and Mount Zion, which shall be set apart in the new creation for set apartness of the earth, and through it the earth shall be set apart from all guilt and all uncleanness throughout the generations of the world. All right, so it's the Garden of Eden, Mount Zion, Mount Sinai, and another mountain of the east. It has to be somewhere in Asia. If I were to guess, it's somewhere in Asia, because of course it's east of where they were at. So of course Asia was east of that. So that makes sense. All right, so continuing on. And in the 14th Jubilee, Methuselah took a wife, Edna, from the daughters of Azariel, the daughters of his father's brother. In the 3rd week, in the 1st year of this week, he brought forth a son and called his name Lamech. And in the 15th Jubilee, in the 3rd week, 15th Jubilee, so we're already at 15, 30, 45, 60, we're already after the year 750 from when Adam and Eve was created. So 750 years from the creation of Adam and Eve. All right, so in the 15th Jubilee, in the 3rd week, which 3rd week is 21 days, 21 years, because a week in years is 7 years. So really it was the year 771 from the day of creation. I don't know what it is converting to BC, but I know it's probably at least like 3,000 something BC, I think. All right, anyways, Lamech took a wife, and her name was Batenos, the daughter of Birachal, the daughters of his father's brother. And in this week she bore him a son, and called his name Noah, saying, "This one shall comfort me for my trouble and all my work, and for the ground which Yahuwah has cursed." So now we're all the way down to Noah's generation. And at the close of the 19th Jubilee, in the 7th week of the 6th year, Adam died, and all his sons buried him in the land of his creation. So Adam literally died after Noah was, like, shortly, kind of little after Noah was born. So Adam actually, well, of course he lived over 900 years. That makes sense. And that's the next part I'll read. Adam died, and all his sons buried him in the land of his creation. He was the first to be buried in the earth. So Adam, basically, he was the first one to die of old age, because obviously Abel was killed, and there was probably other murdering that happened, but Adam was the first human that actually died of old age. All right. He was less 70 years from 1,000 years. That means he was 930 years old. For 1,000 years, or as one day in a witness of the heavens. A day is 1,000 years a day. And therefore was it written concerning the tree of knowledge, on the day that you eat, you shall die. And for this reason, he did not complete the years of this day, for he died during it. So, because of the fact that Adam ate the forbidden fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, this is why he did not make it to 1,000 years, and he had to die before that. That was a judgment from eating that forbidden fruit. That's why he only lived 930 years and not 1,000 years old. Because apparently, I guess we're supposed to originally live up to 1,000 years, but sin is the wages of sin is death. That's why a lot of people now die nowadays, like even before 100 years old, because people sin a lot nowadays, and that makes sense why our lifespan has shortened since then, because of all the sin that's going on. How all of us did a lot of sins mostly throughout our lives anyways. All right, now I'm going to continue reading chapter 4. All right, at the close of this jubilee, Cain was killed after him in the same year, for his house fell upon him, and he died in the midst of his house, and he was killed by its stones. For with the stone he had killed Abel, by a stone he was killed in righteous judgment. Yeah, there was a verse in the book of Enoch that talks about if you kill someone a certain way, the same way you'll die or whatever. That's why Cain had to be killed by a stone, because he killed Abel by a stone, or he killed Abel with the stone. That's why the house that he had, all the stones just collapsed on him, and he died under all the stones. All right, so that's how Cain died. And for this reason, it was ordained on the tablets of the heavens with the instrument. Oh, here's the commandment. Okay. With the instrument on which a man kills his neighbor with, the same shall he be killed. After that manner that he wounded him, in like manner shall they deal with him. So that is the judgment. So now, as you see, people get shot. Those same people will get shot back at them, with the gun. People that get stabbed will end up getting stabbed. That's basically what this was referring to. So the way you kill someone, the way someone will kill you back, basically. I just had to say that, because that was basically very detailed. Okay, this is the last verse of chapter 4. And in the 25th Jubilee, Noah took a wife, and her name was Emzara, the daughter of Rachel, the daughter of his father's brother, in the first year of the 5th week. And in the 3rd year, she bore him Shem. And in the 5th year, she bore him Ham. And in the 1st year of the 6th week, she bore him Japheth. All right, so now Noah and his wife had 3 sons. Now I'm going to read a part of the chapter 5, because it's kind of showing more population going on, since this subject's about population anyways. And it came to be, when the children of men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born to them, that the messengers of Yahuwah saw them on a certain year of this jubilee, that they were lovely to look upon, and they took themselves wives from all whom they choose, and they bore unto them sons, and they were giants. Okay, so I did a previous video already talking about what happened before the flood. So definitely check that out. But I just only wanted to read chapter 1 of verse 5 because, it was just referring to how, everyone was more populated too. So anyways, so yeah, that is what that is for this subject. Yeah, let me double check on my notes here. Yeah, it was just chapter 4 and chapter 5 verse 1 that talked about the population. So yeah, that's it for this subject. I hope you all enjoyed this subject. Um, yeah, and that's it. So shalom everyone. Hope you all have a wonderful day.